Welcome to another episode of Top Ceiling, where the ceiling is at the top. I'm your host, Wendy Gumede, and today we have a very interesting lineup for you. Okay, so today we're talking about independent filmmaking and independent films in general. What are independent films? Are independent films 10-minute movies? Are independent films movies that have low quality? Are independent films movies that just have no celebrities in them? Well, luckily for us, we have our producer here at Top Seating, Humphrey Bande, in studio, who is an independent filmmaker himself and has worked on various projects. So we can just direct our questions to him. Humphrey, thank you so much for being on the show.
It's good to be here. Always wanted to be on this side of the camera, so now I made it.
Yeah,
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, so is the grass greener on this side?
I must say, besides the green screen, nothing else is greener. It was actually nice on that side. But hey, being up here at the top, on top of those buildings over there, no better feeling. Mm-hmm. No better feeling.
So you're an independent filmmaker.
Oh, wow.
What exactly is that?
Sure, I just discovered
surprise.
Now. I didn't know this. Sure. Yes, so in independent filmmaking, I think maybe what I would say is I see at least three different distinctions with that. But first, I would say is a film or is a filmmaker who is not necessarily associated or making his films through the usual studios, the big studios like, I don't know, Universal or whatever studios we have here in South Africa. So it's someone who's saying, here's my personal project and I'm going to make sure it gets through to where I wanted to go. And so there's three levels in that. Obviously, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's no budget to it. There's a lot of highly funded independent films with private investors, and then there's low budget films as well, and also no budget films. No budget independent films being everything from the film is coming from my pocket. And so for every scene you see on screen, that director didn't have a meal. For every extra minute of the film, more people in the crew are not having meals at night.
So. Do people live to see the production though of the movie?
There are many cases where they haven't really made it, but
but the show must go on.
The show must go on. The show must go on, and that's where you have stunt doubles. Okay.
So tell us, at Top Ceiling, is Top Ceiling one of your independent projects, or do people at Top Ceiling, myself included, do they get paid? Do they get
so are you
benefits?
Are you talking about you getting paid now?
I'm just talking about all of us here, this crew. Do we get paid for the sets? Do the talents get paid? Do we get taken care of by the producer of the show at Top Ceiling, just tells South Africa? So what I meant to ask is, tell us why you decided to go independent.
Well, I think for many of us aspiring filmmakers, you've got your story and you want to put it out there. And the sentiment can be that when you go to a big studio, the studio will have a set way for the story, which will obviously be profitable for the studio, but might mean that the story needs to change from what the initial writer had intended to be. And so that's the one benefit of going independent, is that you can tell your own story the way you want it, however long you want the film to be, to whatever audience. That's an advantage.
How do you ensure that the people that you want to tell your story to get the story? So how do you market your story? How do you advertise your films? How do you ensure that people out there get them?
In the last less than 10 years, in the last 5 years, there's been such a revolution, the DSLR revolution as it's often called, which has just put high quality cameras at a small price range for ordinary people like myself. I mean, I consider myself ordinary, don't you?
No.
All right. Well, certainly in the last 5 years, a lot of cameras have become cheaper. What was your question? With social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, it means you can take your story, make a 5-minute short film, put it online, and then there you've got an audience.
What have you done recently?
Recently, I've been privileged. Obviously, we've seen on episode 1 of Top Ceiling. If you haven't seen it, stop this video and watch episode 1, as Wendy would tell you.
It's right here.
No, it's not. It's not here. It's down.
Is it here?
In the comment section.
Yeah.
In the comment section. That's where you'll find it. I have been working on another short film.
For quite a while.
Good things take time. I have been working on a short film called The Cost, which will hopefully make screens shortly.
By shortly, he means in 2 years. So Humphrey, obviously you didn't study film, did you?
No.
Okay. Do you have matric though? Did you finish high school?
Are we asking me this?
Yes.
Yes, I have metric.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right.
Okay, so tell us then, what how does a normal person that just has a story to tell, wow.
Must I ask you a question for you? Did you do metric?
What does it take for a normal person that just has a story to tell to break into the independent filmmaking industry?
Yeah. I think definitely, studying film will obviously go a long way. I didn't. For me, Google and YouTube were my tutors. So I would say for me, in my situation, passion is the number one thing that you gotta have. You gotta have the passion. You gotta have not even the drive to follow your passion, but to fight for your passion. You know what I mean? And so that was deep. That was deep. Right? And with the fist, fight for your passion. If you've got a smartphone, you've got something to tell a visual story. And so that's what I would say you need is passion, an idea, and something that can record videos. Never start with a short film. Start with like a scene. Take a weekend and say, this weekend we're gonna film this scene. And so don't start with a car chase. All right, start with someone running around the block and see if you can pull that off.
An actual chase.
Exactly. So in fact, be safe. Get on a treadmill and then chase each other like that. And if you can film that, people on a treadmill, not moving anywhere, you are ready to be a filmmaker. That's my advice.
Okay. Thank you very much, Humphrey. Well, I learned a lot, surprisingly. I'm sure you did too. My name is Wendy Kumede, and this is Top Ceiling, where the ceiling is at the top. All of a sudden, I don't know how to ask this question. I'm your host, Wendy Kumede, and today we have a very interesting lineup for you. And welcome back from the show.
You were in the show, and now you are being welcomed from the show into
oh my gosh,
nothing.
Okay.